Business. Finally, we will be emailing a recording of this session to all registrants, and we encourage you to tell others about this webinar experience via our social channels. Thank you. Welcome to the Flow Business webinar, Productivity and Security, Enhance Your Efficiency and Cybersecurity with Flow Business. Today's host is Communications Manager for Flow Business, Yolande Egard-Simmons. Welcome, Yolande.
Thank you, Christine. Good morning, all, and welcome to our webinar hosted by Flow Business. Thank you for investing your time, which I assure you will redound to the benefit of your business. Today, we have an outstanding lineup of speakers, all experts in their field, who will address you on various topics. Among them are Bradley Ramcharan, Kevin Clark, Horatio Bandoyu, and Denisha Hamilton-Bailey. The world as we know it has changed. We at Flow Business have created new and smart solutions for your evolving needs. Today, we will position for you that we can help you enhance both your efficiency and security with our solutions. It is now my pleasure to direct your attention to our Director of C&W Business, Bradley Ramcharan, as he says a few words of welcome and sets the tone for our session today. Over to you, Brad.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Thank you, Yolande, and welcome to each of you. Thank you for joining us this morning. You know, when we launched Flow Business late last year, it was built on our commitment to provide dedicated support to the local small business sector, providing you all with best-in-class service. And as the world literally changed around us today, our commitment remains stronger than ever. Digital disruption is real, and it is happening now, and it is fundamentally challenging and changing the way in which businesses will require to complete both today and for decades to come. Make no mistake about it, COVID-19 pandemic has produced a leap in digitalization larger than ever seen before. And for local small businesses and startups in particular, it presents an opportunity to retool and rethink digital strategies so that you can use the benefits of taking your business offering online to drive real business results. For those of you who choose not to be transformational today, they will have to face the prospects of extinction tomorrow. As a result, there must be an urgent understanding that taking your business offering online means much more than simply the effective use of technology. Rather, it's a new way of life in which we all need to be prepared to participate. And of course, in going digital, there are attendant security protocols that must be adhered to see so that you can see and ensure continuity of business operations and present experience for all your customers. And of course, Flow Business is always here to help you on this and many other counts. For example, introducing and providing access to a 24/7 digital concierge service in the form of a digital help desk. Today, we'll get greater insights on all of these points and more. We will also hear firsthand from one of our customers. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we hope to connect you with the possibilities of tomorrow today. Yolande.
Thank you, Bradley. Ladies and gentlemen, as Bradley said when he started, when we launched Flow Business late last year, it was built on a commitment to provide dedicated support to local small businesses, providing you with business class service. And that business class service includes top of the line advisory and security services. Up next, we have Kevin Clark. Kevin is the team lead for sales engineering with Cable and Wireless Flow Business, and he will deliver a presentation on cybersecurity. Over to you, Kevin.
Thank you, Yolande. Thank you to everyone that's joining us this morning. A pleasant good morning to everyone. I'm going to take you through a bit about cybersecurity this morning, and we're going to take a look at the change work environment over on the next slide. So the COVID-19 pandemic has caused businesses to move much of their operations to the online scenario as businesses scrambled in a mad rush to roll out work from home initiatives and bring a bulk of their operations online. Cybercriminals took notice of the rapid increase in vulnerabilities and attack surfaces that were waiting to be exploited. Many of the attacks took advantage of the general population's increased activity online. Most small businesses today will exist in the online, using social media, using their mobile devices, and a number of tablets and so on. We need to secure all ends of small business and all ends of your business as well. So while IT departments focused on achieving business continuity, many of them simply didn't have time to put sufficient security controls in place. 3 out of 4 small businesses say they don't have the personnel to address IT security. 54% of small businesses think they're too small for a cyber attack. 25% didn't realize cyber attacks would cost them money. And 83% of them have never put cash aside for dealing with a cyber attack. And 54% don't have a plan in place for reacting to an actual cyber attack. So what is cybersecurity? We've heard the term many times, and what is it about? It's about protecting your computer-based equipment and information from identified or unintended or unauthorized access, change, theft, or destruction. People usually imagine the most prominent targets of hackers to be government organizations or big businesses. But while these are highly lucrative targets, they're also exceptionally difficult ones. Small businesses often underestimate their risk level. In reality, most hackers are opportunists. They're interested in valuable targets, but they also optimize their practices to attack low-hanging fruit. Small businesses represent the best of both worlds. They have access to money and data, making them potentially lucrative targets, but at the same time, they tend to have much lower defenses. So, what's at risk? Access to client lists, customer credit card information, your company's banking details, your pricing structure, product designs, expansion plans, manufacturing processes, just to name a few, are some of the information, that's at risk in your company today. Cyber threats aren't just a problem for big corporations or governments. Small businesses can be targets too. In fact, 60% of small businesses that fall victim to an attack shut down within 6 months after the breach. While that may be the most devastating result of the attack, there are other consequences that your business could experience, including financial losses from theft of banking information, losses from disruption of business, high costs to rid your network of threats. One key aspect to keep in mind is how costly is a day of business to you. Can you afford to be down for 1 day, 2 days, or maybe not even for an hour? We have to keep that in mind when we're thinking about securing the information and valuable information within your company's databases. At this point, I'm going to invite you to take a quick poll. So I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, so let's have a look at those results. So we have a whopping 55% actually not using any type of cybersecurity today. So let's take a look and get to know those risks a bit better on the next slide. One of the best ways to prepare for an attack is to understand the different methods that hackers generally use to gain access to your information. So there are various types of cybersecurity threats: malware, software that's specifically designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system; phishing, the fraudulent practice of sending emails purporting to be from reputable companies in order to get individuals to reveal personal information, such as passwords, credit card numbers, etc. There's also spear phishing, which is an email or electronic communication scam targeted towards a specific individual. We have man-in-the-middle attacks. This is a general term for when a perpetrator positions himself in a conversation between a user and an application, either to eavesdrop or to impersonate one of the parties, making it appear as if it's a normal exchange. We also have Trojans. This is also a type of malware that's often disguised as legitimate software. Trojans can be employed by cyber thieves and hackers trying to gain access to users' systems. Users are typically tricked by some form of social engineering into loading and executing Trojans on their systems. Ransomware, malicious software that infects your computer and displays messages demanding a fee to be paid in order for your system to work again. It has the ability to lock your computer screen or encrypt important predetermined files with a password. And denial of service attacks or distributed denial of service attacks. This is an attack meant to shut down a machine or network, making it inaccessible to its intended users. There are two general methods of DOS attacks: flooding services or crashing services. We now take a look at an example of a data breach, and one of the largest data breaches known in history was done on the Target company in 2013. More than 41 million of the company's customer payment card accounts were accessed. They were breached. Retail giant Target had to pay 18.5 million in a multi-state settlement, and that was the largest ever for any data breach. This is just an additional cost to the already 202 million the company lost when they reported 40 million credit card numbers were stolen. Target agreed to pay 39 million to banks for the data breach, as they didn't accept liability at that time for that breach. So this is just an example of one data breach, a large data breach. While your business may not be on the scale of a Target, you want to treat your business with the same worth as a Target. So that information that you hold is key to you. It's important to your customers. It's important to your clients. So it's important that you protect that information at all costs. So where does protection begin? Protection begins with strong end user education, compliance-based practices for handling data, recognizing phishing attempts and procedures to counteract human engineering attempts. Keeping your software up to date is also important. Firewall and antivirus, intrusion detection systems and intrusion prevention systems, security event monitoring, and an incident response plan. Now, if you don't have access to this within your resources for your small business, this is where Flow Business can partner with you to provide these services, becoming an extension of your existing IT or IT itself. And this brings me to the end of my presentation. I'll now open up the floor to questions, and over to you, Yolande.
Thank you so much, Kevin. So participants, I see we have about 28 of you on. At this juncture, we invite you to use the question functionality to engage with Kevin, who, as we just heard, is an excellent resource on this topic. So as we wait to get all of our participants' questions in, Kevin, probably you can answer this question that I have for you. How do I know an email is legitimate?
Great question, Yolande. Thanks for that. Okay, so in terms of legitimate emails and the way hackers utilize emails, they will often disguise the email to look like one of your most commonly used shopping centers or a common link that you would use in the workplace. But what does happen and what employees can look out for, once you mouse over that link, the HTML address usually appears at the bottom of your screen, and it's normally not the address or the address linked to the actual website. So that is something to look out for. And that's one of the end user education practices that you can put in place just to let employees know what to look out for in terms of those types of phishing emails.
Okay, great, thanks. Our participants are still getting their feet warm, I think. So you shared the experience of Target, which is an international chain. Do you have any examples of data breaches that may have happened within the Caribbean or even locally that you can share without, sharing the name of the organization?
I can share there was one very recently in Barbados, and it was a breach within healthcare. And there was a dissemination of a list of positive COVID-19 patients with both addresses, names, and numbers on that list, unfortunately. So this is just an example of where security becomes important and end user security becomes a factor. So just bringing that closer to home, when we think of small businesses, we tend to think retail. We have to understand that small business spans across various verticals, and we want to consider security for all those verticals. So a doctor's office may carry a list of patients, payment methods, the dentist's office. So we want to take into consideration all those verticals and protect them similarly to at all costs. As much as we would at Target, we protect all small businesses.
Okay, good stuff. So I know among the 20 participants who apparently are a little bit shy this morning, hopefully by the time Horatio presents, they would, have all their questions waiting. I know many of them may actually be small business owners. So if there is any among them that may not have an IT team, how can they go about implementing a solution?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, Flow Business is well positioned to become an extension of an existing IT team or to assist with managing their security needs and becoming their IT team, so to speak. So one of the key things to note with Flow Business is that we do own our network from end to end, which forms the foundation for many of our managed service products. So that's something that we boast of very heavily. Not any other providers can say this. So having that foundation and the expertise in-house is something very important. So we don't outsource or have the need to outsource. And you can feel comfortable outsourcing to our team, Flow Business, and knowing that we have the security expertise. We partner with the best vendors in the business to provide those solutions to you.
Great stuff, Kevin. Thank you so much. Thank you. So hopefully our participants, in anticipation of the next Q&A section, would have their questions ready and waiting. So we do have another Q&A coming up. Thank you, Kevin. Excellent presentation. We would all recall that, we would all recall that Kevin in his presentation, he reiterated the risks attendant with so many of us who have transitioned to work from home arrangements and also taking our business online. Noteworthy in his presentation, at least for me, he told us what protection begins with. And that, for me, was an excellent segue into our next presenter, who is Horatio Bandoyu. Horatio is a channel marketing manager with Bitdefender in Spain. And Horatio this morning will share with us some insights into his company and their cybersecurity product offerings. At this point, I'd like to hand over to Horatio. Horatio?
Thank you so much, Yolande, for the kind presentation, and thank you all for dedicating a precious time of your day to assist to our webinar. As Yolande presented, my name is Horatio Bandoyu. I am working in channel marketing, but I am also a cybersecurity professional of more than 20 years. And in the past 15 years, I have been also an active security auditor. I will try to reveal you today one of the best kept secrets of the cybersecurity industry, and that is Bitdefender. In the next slide, you will see that Bitdefender is a global cybersecurity leader that has been founded in 2001, although we started our cybersecurity experience and venture in 1998 under the name of Antivirus Expert. If you are looking at the cybersecurity companies, about 38% of them are using some technology from Bitdefender. Microsoft, Cisco, IBM, Checkpoint, FireEye, F-Secure, WatchGuard, to name a few. We are a European company employing more than 1,800 employees, and half of them are working in development and research. It is a proof of our focus for innovation and for excellence. We are present in the entire world, and our excellence in protection is due to an innovative architecture that I think I will be able to explain to you in the following. Our capabilities are recognized and awarded by the main organizations of independent testing. Maybe some of you have seen, or you can see in the rankings of AV Test or AV Comparatives, or many other testers. AV Comparatives and AV Test are some European organizations, but to them we can add Virus Bulletin, NSS Labs, Forrester, Gartner, Radicati, etc. You can take any period actually in the past 7-8 years, and you will see that we are #1 across that period in any of those tests. In the next slides, about you will see something about our numbers and deeds, and maybe this will help you understand why. We are a leader in innovation, and this is due to our vision and our unique architecture. In 2010, we started building a cloud of threat intelligence that is fueled by information from more than 500 million sensors. This cloud lays behind all of our solutions, delivering always updated threat intelligence that is necessary for a precise detection and protection. This cloud is getting, as you can see here, 30 billion queries per day, far more than even Facebook or Twitter. Our technologies have helped law enforcement to stop cyber gangs and save billions of dollars, while we helped thousands of organizations recover after ransomware with our tools, like we did in the case of GandCrab, but also of many other ransomware. Moving on, you will see why our name is associated with innovation. We are the first company to have employed artificial intelligence and machine learning to our solutions back in 2008. Meanwhile, we have 48 patents awarded only in the field of machine learning from a total of more than 300. In 2014, we were the first company to deliver protection for IoT devices, and in 2016, we were the first and only vendor to protect the hypervisors, the core of virtualization. For the next minute, we will have a check of your attention with a poll asking you if you remember which year Bitdefender has been founded in. We'll wait for about 30 seconds. Okay, if we can wrap up. Let's see. Well, I see that many of you have seen and have been attentive. That's great. Thank you so much. Well, it is logical to speak about challenges. As a matter of fact, my colleague Kevin has done a wonderful job already explaining some of them. In the next slide, we can see several categories of these challenges that I will try to summarize because we can discuss several hours about each of them. The pandemic has brought up on us the necessity of remote working. That is a real stress test for anyone and anything, including cybersecurity. Now, all the employees that used to be behind a corporate firewall may be alone in the internet and may fall victim of direct attacks, infection from various vectors, phishing attacks, and spear phishing, as Kevin has mentioned. Therefore, there is the need for a strong security solution at that endpoint level. We are all using software, and unfortunately, the software is plagued with vulnerabilities due to the fact that each software is made of a lot of lines of code. For example, you have millions and millions of lines of code in Windows. Therefore, a patch management solution fixing these vulnerabilities is something that is really necessary. We are welcoming 5G that has been invented and is currently being deployed to allow for billions of IoT devices to connect to the internet. Unfortunately, these devices have a limited and many times antiquated operating system and receive no updates and can be used as attack vectors to penetrate your networks. We are witnessing also wave after wave of ransomware attacks that can be highly destructive, leading a company like a small and medium enterprise to bankruptcy. Also, the SMEs started to fall victim of advanced targeted attacks that are intended for their clients, if these clients are bigger companies, or just, as Kevin mentioned, a test bed for cyber criminals. Not least, we are witnessing a tremendous lack of security professionals, more than 3 million in 2020, according to Gartner. This means less troops to fight cybercrime, and this is not a good news. With all this in mind, the next question is legitimate. How we can bring more security without impacting resources and adding complexity, as we know that complexity is the enemy of security. In the next few slides, you will find some answers and some solutions coming from our portfolio. Bitdefender is providing products and solutions, but also services working in the areas of prevention, endpoint detection and response, risk analytics and management, and security training, even simulation of attacks. And I think that the next diagram illustrates them better. Gravity Zone is our unified platform for enterprise security, addressing challenges at the level of endpoints, of any type of endpoints, physical, virtual, servers, and mobile devices, networks, cloud instances, and human behaviors. These are illustrated in the following slide as following the security lifecycle that may pass through hardening, that is identifying weak points and strengthening your security posture through risk management, also prevention, that solutions with a series of redundant multi-layer protections. So if one protection fails, another one can come and take its place. Detection and response, that is relying as much as possible on automation and expert services. Actually, automation is a very important keyword, because we have seen that we as humans, although we can be very expert in security, and we can be also very attentive, at some point we fail in the velocity of response. In the following slide, you may see a few of our technologies. Actually, there are more than 50, and I don't think if they even are presented there, all of them. And you can see how they interact to protect any company. In the area of risk analytics and hardening, you can find familiar technologies as firewall and IPS, but also patch management, encryption, application control, or control for peripherals that are so important for working from home. We also are delivering, and it is free of charge, risk management module that is really differential, spotting out vulnerabilities, weak points, and even human behaviors that may induce a risk to your organization, together with the possibility of fixing them through applying some patches or through strengthening some configuration. In the prevention, as one could anticipate, we are using specific antivirus technologies, but also, as I mentioned, we are bringing many layers of machine learning, sandboxing, and network defense. And in detection and response, where visibility and containment are the most important, we provide many technologies, and we are one of the few vendors totally aligned with MITRE ATT&CK framework that is even recommending our solutions in their comparative tests. Our services are also the important part of our offering, delivered from our SOCs, but also through our partners, as you will see in the following slides. And as there are many technologies and a lot of granularity, there are a lot of open options. We have prepared for the SMEs some security bundles that will be detailed in the next slides. Bitdefender Gravity Zone is our integrated platform that can provide advanced protection and detection and response automated to boost efficiency and diminish the security risks. This solution comes as annual contract for larger SMEs because they have their own people, but in the following, you can find also Gravity Zone Cloud Security, our protection delivered under the managed security model with the same advanced protection, but delivered with a monthly based fee and also under the pay-per-use model. The solution is multi-tenant, made for complex environments and multi-layered business models. And our proposal for the SMEs that don't need managed solutions, that have simpler environments, is presented in the following slide. It's Bitdefender Total Security for SMEs. And it is a solution that has following components and covers the following platforms. Solution for Windows, for any type of endpoint station, as well as server. Antivirus for Mac, that is not only an antivirus, but we couldn't find another word. And for mobile devices, that where we are protecting both Android and iOS. And we complete the offer with the following services presented in the following slides, that are the professional services necessary for the installation and fine-tuning of the solutions, and they are included in the service. We know that this is the critical point of the usage of any security technology, as a good configuration can avoid many incidents. So this is why we have included these services. And the next, for the SMEs with specific needs or that need more assurance, they can extend the scope with premium support that can be tailored to their needs and have stronger SLAs, as you can see in this slide. Well, it has been a long and intense journey and a lot of information. Now we give you an invitation of reflection regarding the solution that best adapts to you. It is a new poll, and we invite you to mention which solution you think can be useful for you, for your environment, or which is the solution that you are looking for. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Let's wrap up. Well, most of you, more than a half, are choosing security for SMEs, and also an important part are looking for solutions of endpoint protection. Yeah, this is a good choice. I also recommend to you to take a look at the other solutions, or to let yourself being advised by companies like Flow Business that are really expert in what they are doing and can give you better and good options and at good prices. Actually, as I could guess, your needs are. I hope that that in a resume of our key features and benefits, you can see what makes Bitdefender unique. It's our integrated platform that has gathered most awards and recognitions during the past decades and the beginning of the current decade, and that follows a complete security lifecycle from risk management to advanced protection, detection, and response. And it is protecting all types of endpoints, network, and cloud instances. With all this said, I want to thank you again for your attention and for sharing your thoughts with me. And if Yolande and the time allows for it, we can even take some questions. Yolande, the scene is back to you.
Thank you so much, Horatio. That was a really extensive presentation, and clearly you engaged our participants because we have some questions for you. And the first one that's being posed is, can your platform protect my mobile devices?
Yes, as you may have seen in the presentation, and I mentioned, there are two options. One is for the small and medium enterprises that are really small, they don't need eventually many solutions, or they don't need to have a management console. And for this, we have the total security that includes protection for mobile devices for iOS and Android. For the other, the larger enterprise, of course, we have an MDM solution that allows full control over the mobile devices, also based on iOS and Android.
Okay, great. And with lots of home offices now, working from home as well, can protection of my in-house server also be part of your solutions?
Of course, actually, we are looking at the endpoints like any type of endpoints. The protection, for example, that we use for a workstation, the agent is similar with the one that we are using for the server. What differs is actually the security policy. Of course, the security needs of our server could be different from the ones for a workstation or for a laptop, of course. Even between laptops and desktops, we have the differences, of course.
Right. Another one, does Bitdefender offer protection for older operating systems such as Windows Server 2003?
Yes, for Windows Server, of course, and also we are offering protection also for Mac, iOS, but also for Linux. We have agents also for Linux.
Okay. Our participants were very engaged with your presentation. So here's another question. What types of reports would be provided by the system?
Well, the reports can be defined by there are about 30, I think, predefined, but it's very simple to define any report because it's just drag and drop, or it's just selecting to which endpoints you need to apply them. It's very intuitive in the console. And of course, you can group endpoints by type, by location, by whatever you need, and also by your security policy. And you have either default reports, or you can have specific particular reports, and you can choose even to automate them to be delivered on your email, I don't know, once per week or when you need them. Also, I would recommend you to get into the dashboard as much as possible, because in the dashboard you can see the security posture of your organization, and it is important to be in control.
Agreed. In terms of being in control, and you, in your response, made mention of a security policy. So there's a question here, if you can give an example of a security policy. And just before I respond, Kevin, I saw a question, an additional question for you. So if you can just prep, I'll pose it to you after. So Horatio, can you give an example of a security policy?
Yes, for example, the security policies, and this is how we install our products. For example, you may have a location, I don't know, a bank office or something like that, and you have people working there, and eventually most of them, they have Windows desktops. Then when you define how to install the product, actually you define this in the console, you select the security policy, for example, to deploy the firewall part, the firewall module, the IPS module, device control, I don't know, risk management, and the other stuff. So you define the security policy. The executable is configured according to this security policy, and it is deployed like this. And also, well, once you deploy, the next step, the device is coming back to you and saying, hello, I'm here and I'm protected. And from time to time, they are communicating. So this is a kind of security policy, an example of security policy, but you have any type of security policy. For example, one of our strong points is to be very good in virtualization. So you can group the virtual machines and to define a specific security policy for them. For example, in virtualization, we know that we don't want to consume resources. So what we can do, for example, is to have remote scanning, a scanning from cloud directly to the machine, but without having all the virus signature, all the threat intelligence locally. So this is liberating a lot of resources. And well, there are many choices and many options. That depends on the endpoints and on the needs of any individual. We have small clients, medium clients, large clients, very large clients, and well, each of them, they have specific security needs.
Okay, excellent. So all strata of organizations can be supported by the services you offer. Thank you so very much, Horatio.
Thank you so much.
Yes, I think I speak for all participants when I say that despite the anxiety of the real threats and risks that exist, your presentation outlined that there are in fact robust, tried and tested security platforms that offer significant layers of protections for one's business. Thank you so much. And most importantly, not just your business, but also your peace of mind, right? As a business owner. I think I remember you said at the start of your presentation, your business is that, correct me if I'm wrong, your business is that of threat prevention, detection, and response solutions, right? Okay, good stuff. Great. Thank you so much. So Kevin, hoping you can join us. There was one additional question for you. And that question is, what are some quick do's and don'ts to protect my organization in the context of, your presentation on cybersecurity?
Okay. Quick do's and don'ts. So what you want to do is really be mindful of the types of emails and that can come into your business. Also be mindful that most commercial banks will not request information via email. So those are some of the scams to look out for. Again, to reiterate, pay attention to the links when you mouse over those links. You must be it's important that you pay attention also to where your data is being stored. Your critical data, it would be important to have backups of that data. If you would like to have that data stored in a remote location, Flow Business would be definitely standing by ready to have that conversation with you as well. You want to pay attention to online businesses today. Social media is heavily used. You want to pay attention to who's real and who's not, and the type of questions that you're going to be asked, or probing questions that would be asked, because remember, many of these attempts, as I outlined in my presentation, are socially engineered. So they will play on things that they can pick up from your business or from your social media profiles. So they'll find a way to break that ice or to make you believe that it is indeed the company that you that is reaching out to you, a legitimate company reaching out to you. So those are the types of things you want to pay attention to. And you also want to make these things known to each and everyone that's going to use your network or that's going to log on to your network. So if you have a small business office, and you have a small network set up for that business, you might want to have maybe a guest Wi-Fi rather than having persons from outside log on to your internal network. That's something to be mindful of as well. So you'd want to have two broadcasting SSIDs just so that your guest has one, they can sign on as a guest, and that sits separately from your actual internal network. So those are just some of the tips that you can do to try to keep your business as safe as possible. And remember that being online without security is being exposed, and every day hackers are trying something new in an effort to gain access to your business. That's why it's important to partner with persons like Bitdefender and the Flow Business. Their business is in security. So they're paying attention to things like zero-day threats. Those are the threats that will develop along the way. There won't be new patches out as yet. So they develop those and they roll those out. That's why it's important to keep your software updated as well, and keep your patches and your security patches and so on update on your laptop, so that hackers have less backdoors basically to exploit into your network. I hope that answers.
I think so. You spoke, you hit the nail on the head. And I think just as you started to speak about not just you as a business owner being aware of the threats or the risks, but also educating those who have access to your network. So it's all about, staff education as well as even your customers. And I like the point where you made, setting up different SSIDs in terms of a guest network and then your working system being separate and apart from you. Thank you very much, Kevin. Horatio, there's another question for you. Can you join me again? So the question for you is, if a company is hit with ransomware, can Bitdefender do a rollback?
Well, actually, that depends on the moment, and that depends on what the client has installed. If Bitdefender is there, as I said, we are using redundant technologies. So, first of all, I think that we wouldn't allow the ransomware to enter. Secondly, we have a technology that is present in all our products that is ransomware mitigation. That ransomware mitigation functions the following way. It is a technology that uses machine learning. Once we detect an anomalous behavior, Acrobat Reader starts to encrypt files, or some other process that normally doesn't encrypt files, then what we are doing is, for one part, we are isolating this process. On the other hand, we are making automatically a backup of those files that the process tries to encrypt. We are doing this using our own technology, because, for example, many of other vendors are doing this using Windows shadow copies. So the cyber criminals are not stupid. They started to inhabilitate this technology when they start encrypting. And also, what we are doing, we are getting these backup copies in a tamper-proof location, and we are cutting the communication between that process to the command and control server, because any ransomware, especially the last flow of ransomware, the targeted ransomware, they want to communicate with the command and control server, because they need also to communicate the encryption key, and they need to download the wallet where you have to pay the ransom, or they need to have this communication channel. If they are asking, in the case of a directed ransomware, they need this channel to negotiate the ransom. Just to give you an example, in the case of Garmin, maybe you have seen that attack last year at the end of July. They got a part of their network encrypted that produced a lot of damage, and they negotiated from 14 million to 10 million. They paid 10 million for this encryption key, and they needed this channel. So what we are doing, we are trying to prevent the ransomware from coming. We are having also technologies that work at the network level to prevent the spreading of the ransomware inside the network. But in the case the ransomware tries to encrypt, we are doing this ransomware mitigation. But as I said, that depends on what you had at the point of entry of the ransomware. If you don't have Bitdefender, then of course there is some small chance, I would say small, very small chance. If you have a network encrypted or some devices encrypted with ransomware, what I would invite you to do is to go to nomoreransom.org, I think it is, or to .com, but just to look to Google No More Ransom, and there you see an initiative that we have with Interpol, and where not only us but some other vendors, we are trying to launch these encryption tools. But as I said, there is a very small chance. If the ransomware is well executed, we probably don't have a decryptor for them.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Horatio. So threat prevention, detection, and response at its best. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much, participants, for engaging with us, these questions. So today we talked about cybersecurity and the attendant risks with Kevin. And then Horatio assured you that through Flow Business and its partnership with Bitdefender, we can assist you, for we partner with the best in the business to provide security platforms that mitigate those risks. There is no doubt that we at Flow Business are ready to keep your business growing and thriving. To wrap things up for us today, I now hand over to my colleague and friend, Janisha Hamilton-Bailey. Janisha is the SME Sales Manager with Flow Business, and she will deliver closing remarks for us. Over to you, Denisha.
Thanks so much, Yolande. So good evening to all the attendees, and we thank you for joining this educational session on how to operate and protect your business successfully in this digital age. Now, as Yolande indicated earlier on, we all know that our world and how we do business in it has changed. So we all need to adapt and evolve and stay with it. So, and we need to do this in order to stay relevant and successful and safe. And in our message today, we spoke about how we can do just that. Now, Kevin and Horatio gave us clear insights and wonderful information, informative stuff into the risks at hand and how valuable it is to ensure that your business is protected. Kevin spoke about cybersecurity, and a lot of us don't appreciate or properly understand what it's about. And he went in depth to tell us that it's important, of its importance, and the risks your companies face if it remains unprotected. Can you imagine hackers having access to your clients' information, customers' credit card information, your company's banking information, your strategic plans, and then holding your business at ransom to retrieve the information, and worse yet, selling your information to the highest bidder, right? Your business is not too small or insignificant that it will not attract the interest of hackers. Your business is valuable. Your information is valuable. We need to protect your information and your business. So how do you protect yourself? As Kevin informed us, protection begins with strong end user education, up-to-date software, a firewall and antivirus, intrusion detection and prevention systems, security event monitoring, and incident response plans. Now, this sounds like a lot, right? And we know you do not have an IT team. Most of you don't have an IT team or someone on staff that will be able to assist you in setting this up. But not to worry, because we definitely have you covered there, where Horatio gave us detailed information about Bitdefender and the success and stability of the services they provide. They're a global cybersecurity leader delivering best-in-class threat prevention and detection and response solutions worldwide. And they have partnered with us at Flow Business to assist our SME customers during the time where attacks on your business may be more so prevalent. Flow Business with Bitdefender created secure packages that would provide you with a peace of mind. And we all know how important that is. We're able to secure your devices, your mobile devices, Horatio indicated, your tablets, your laptops, your desktops, your online work, your client data. With these packages offered, we can remotely manage security policies from your central portal, device security, as well as protection for servers and virtual desktops. Additional information on these offers are available via our website, or you can call or email us. And this information will be provided later on. So don't worry about having to, you don't have the worry of having to shop around and go looking for someone who can support you in this way. We have you covered here. But I know you all are I'm sure that you all are wondering, well, why? Why share this information at this point in time? And why we're spending time educating the SME sector to ensure that you all are informed and aware. We're doing this because we believe that SMEs are the backbone of the Caribbean economies, as you all make up roughly 40% of our GDP, and you provide roughly 50% of the employment for the region. Can we imagine what will happen to our country, our region, if half of our workforce was unemployed? No one wants to imagine that. So we all need to do our part in supporting the SME sector. Your country needs you, the economy needs you. We know the value of our SMEs. So it's important that we continue to support the SME sector so that our country and the region stays successful, especially coming out of the 2020 and the effects of COVID. And I believe this is a good start, where we teach and we share as much information with you as possible, providing a path that you can follow to protecting, growing, and sustaining your business. So I want to say thank you And we hope that you enjoyed this session with us and that you found the information helpful and useful. And if you did, please reach out to us. Again, it was a pleasure. And please look forward to more educational sessions just like this. Back to you, Yolande.
Thank you so much, Shanisha. So as we bring the curtains down on today's webinar, again, a few reminders. We will send to each of you via email a copy of the recording of this session within 48 hours. So just in case you missed something, you want to listen to the response from Kevin or Horatio, the questions posed again, you can watch at your leisure. Also, remember, you can contact anyone at the SME team via email at smesales, that is smesales@twc.com. And we're also on social media. So you can connect with us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or visit us on our website. That's www.flowbusiness.co. As the world literally changes around us today, our commitment to you remains stronger than ever. Thank you, be safe, enjoy the rest of your day, and most importantly, happy Friday.